какой-то я очень яркий и не в ту сторону сейчас. Все, теперь я не яркий и в ту сторону. Так. Как по яркости нормально все? Думаю, ну вроде да. Хотя мне сейчас немножко ярко. А чё фонари в 8 часов утра горят? Что там, дураки, что ли, все? Так, странно. Вот у меня низкого устройства не просматривается стрим, но у нас уже 2 зрителя. Окей. Ладно. Задача на сегодня. Пойдемте труп. Труп. Опишем труп, чтобы потом я ночью, ну вечером мог снять с него ботиночки. Не Куна. Куна мы описывать не будем. С ним все понятно.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy.
Во-первых, что такое наружный осмотр? Okay.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them. There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. I mean when I need you to. Until then, I should handle physical contact, and you should take notes. That's right.
Да не могу я быть, я же не смотрю сам себя. Ну типа, ну ладно, не будем спорить. Может быть, кто-то еще подглядывает. Погнали, все. Игра, у нас игра.
You knew it because you inspected your ledger. The lieutenant is relieved you know the protocol. The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
Первый пункт.
That's you.
Записать.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says...
Регистрационный номер.
KK57-0803.0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi, 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Молодец.
And what would that make the alphanumeric?
HDB 41 0803. Help me out with the time of day, anyone? 11:11. It's meaningful.
Good. Let's go with that.
Класс, я его переубедил.
The lieutenant is quite surprised you've managed to come up with an adequate case number.
Классно. Класс. Подожди.
We've heard the nom de guerre. Lely. It's better than nothing. Write it down.
Ладно.
What's next? Date of birth? NA. Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side. He nods.
Блин, так приятно, когда Ким соглашается с тобой.
Mondial.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky, fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex?
Nor does he look
Я
mad
не
with
буду
his
слушать этих
pregnant belly
придурков.
and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th, 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
HDB 41 0803.1111 listens motionless with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
A strange word. Treatment.
Что подразумевается?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
How did you not know that? Aren't you a cop? You're leaving a weak impression here. Say something sure-handed. Don't overdo it. It's okay to be unsure.
Ну, вот именно. Я не уверен, и это нормально.
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, An obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon, the day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
Результат внешнего осмотра, результат осмотра органов, описание результат внешнего осмотра.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Не займутся, ха-ха-ха-ха-ха.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Драма. У меня есть драма совсем чуть-чуть.
Patience. After the autopsy, before the body is taken away, there will be a window of opportunity. After the lieutenant has gone to sleep.
Я не совсем честный коп. Броня нужна для квеста. Квест дороже всего на свете. Маму продам за квест. Так, не упоминать ботинки.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alpha numerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
А зачем я записал?
Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a cargo lashing belt around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
The hair under your latex fingers feels cold to touch, wet. The stench is suffocating. Strands of dark brown hair start sticking to the latex of the glove, like thread off a rag doll's head.
Поглаживать трупик.
More hair sticks to the glove. Here off the rain-soaked head of a dead man, there are bumps and dips on the skull below, an alien landscape. There, dead man. You were someone's child. It's all over now. The lieutenant watches you in silence.
Без комментариев.
That was some sick shit, Sekopa.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
Не буду я исправлять скорость на высокую. Нет там
You
никакой
get your
высокой
mark.
скорости.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters. The hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Always good to think ahead. Now... we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully.
See? My pig is gonna fuck his head off.
Мой мусорок.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole
Блядь.
circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Блин. Это один раз и не повторить. Я реально сейчас ему голову могу откусить. Ким, может ты сделаешь это? Ну, короче, ГГ.
You jam the cutters right under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then...
Бля.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that faggot. Corpse fucking time.
Told you my pig was hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
Да-да, конечно.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
Here. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
No! Let's get off and see!
I fucking knew it!
This is clearly what they've been waiting for, ever since the autopsy began. The lieutenant is trying to make it as boring as possible.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Я же коп, я должен.
The dead man's penis is average-sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Battles, wars. Last item, hands.
His flesh is cold, icy.
Pleased to meet you. Where are you from and what's your name? I'm only fucking with you. I know where you're from. From Cappadocia. And your name is Il Corbo. What can I do you for, Il Corbo de Cappadocia? I did, Kobo. I did. Reminded me of when I was just a small boy, before this happened to my face and my body. You did me a kindness there. We should do this more often. Be close like this, I mean.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Working so close to the fumes coming from the corpse must be hard. You realize suddenly that the lieutenant has been barely keeping it together these past 2 items.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Хочешь, можем отдохнуть?
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer. Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury-related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact and remarkable. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen, hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
From here, it looks as though the clown-faced man is screaming. The tendons of his jaw are torn apart. Hyoid ripped from the force of the lieutenant's hands. No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his. It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking.
Да, зря я так, ну ладно.
Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
There are ancient mysteries down there, Kobo. Ask me later.
Hepatobiliary, NA. Ah, are you a hepatobiliary expert? That's it.
Ну, поговорили.
Same for toxicology and serology, NA. Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there?
Сторонник стопроцентного прохождения во мне интересуется. Да.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 feels. Leave a 4th one too. Nothing. Just in case. So we inflicted them? Okay, so there's a spin-stabilized munition from a Kiel A990 muzzleloader lodged in his lung.
Oh,
And an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention those. Better not to muddy the waters.
согласен. Путается, но...
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries. Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer? So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
The lieutenant's admission has caused great gratitude in Kuna. He is silent with it. Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Не является.
Right. Next. A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start.
Неплохо.
Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Круто.
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg. For processing.
He's thinking, did I miss something? You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Восприятия не хватает. Ну, попробуем.
You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough. His fingernails have turned dark. They're chipped and quite long. There is dirt under them. That's all. You can't shake the feeling that there are more secrets concealed in the flesh before you.
Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast. It would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Whirling in Rags and the Fritz store down at the gates. If they don't know, but only if all else fails.
Fuck are you looking at, Beano man? You want a piece of the Kuno? Wanna get fucked?
Only if all else fails.
Kuno looks like he gets around. Knows Martinez. And its fridges too, probably. Or, remember the buttons on that intercom over there? On the side of the building next to the Whirling? One was for Revachol Ice City. Perhaps it's a clue.
Hurry. This is one task we cannot sideline. With every...
Ладно, уходим. Тело мы не закопали в мешок, это хорошо. Ищем рефрижератор. Так, я вот не включился никакой стрим отслеживать. Мне надо время. Короче, Ирина, следите за временем. Я не слежу. А еще у нас уровень. Уровень. Я вот думаю... Возможно, придется разблокировать. Я, короче, пока не буду тратить очко. Навыков может быть. Так, что там он говорил? Айс, что-то
An
там.
old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists all the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. Silence. No one answers the doorbell.
Никто не берет трубку. Ну, пойдемте у Гарта спросим.
Can I help you? Yes. For the dead body. You want to put a dead corpse into my fridge, right? Because you haven't taken it away yet, and it must be stinking hard about now. Well, you're not putting it here. Rest assured. Because this is a culinary establishment, not a morgue. I can't believe you even asked me.
It would only be for...
Lieutenant, you too? You're asking too? No. The answer is no. I will not turn this place into some kind of macabre circus.
Wow. Turn the lieutenant off like he was a busted old radio. He really is the lord of his realm.
Let's go talk to the Frit clerk.
Ну вы чё? В смысле, а чё, нельзя сказать, я закон, не менял закона, ты сейчас у меня в тюрьму сядешь за непомощь в расследовании? И у нас нет такой власти. У нас же не полицейское государство здесь, видимо. Так непривычно.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
What's that magazine she's reading?
You mean this? This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34.
Надо к ней
This
подмазаться.
speaks to you. She pops her raspberry-flavored bubblegum and nods. Her shoulders tense. She shuffles back only slightly. Bewilderment and repulsion root her in place. The lieutenant frowns at you before turning to the clerk with an apologetic half
Неправильно
smile.
все сделал.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but... A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
She scrunches up her face into an expression of consummate adolescent skepticism.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay? Right behind you. You're joking, right? Okay. It wouldn't even fit, you know.
Now that I'm looking at it, maybe a glass-doored fridge in a public grocery store isn't the best option for storing a corpse.
Okay.
Ладно. Чё там, Антон?
I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so... Not really. No. I didn't know him at all. I don't know, really long. I don't know.
No need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around. If you hear anything, let us know, okay?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Ой, ладно, подросток. Подрасти еще немножко. Чё, Антон? Ладно, валим. Ну, вообще-то никаких идей. Ладно, с холодильником потом разберем. Все. А мы звонили тогда вот здесь.
An old call box with a matrix of push
Главный
buttons
торговый
lists all
зал.
the companies in the East Delta Commerce Center. You hear the same waiting room music, but no one picks up the receiver anymore.
Брала та женщина. Ну, в книжном. Торговый зал набрала та женщина. Может, раньше там был какой-нибудь супермаркет, не знаю. Может, у них там что-нибудь осталось. Просто мысли. Вот у них здесь какая-то комната.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like trinket dangles from the curtains.
Excuse me, officer. The back room is strictly for employees only.
You see some kind of charm, an irregular polyhedron assembled from bones, sticks, and straw. Inside, a disturbing fish head with empty eye sockets stares at you. Aside from poking at it suspiciously, there is nothing else to do with the fish head charm at this time. The curtains remain shut before you.
Nothing. Now please go back to browsing the books. Don't you feel compelled to look at the books? The books are all you care about.
She speaks almost as if she's trying to put a spell on you, urging you to buy more books. Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become.
Просто поговорю с ней. Но у тебя я книг не хочу покупать. Ты...
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
Нет. С тобой не договориться, видимо, так просто.
The curtains. She speaks oddly enough.
Ай!
She speaks oddly enough. The more she tries to draw you away from the curtains, the more alluring they become. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more.
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers. Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. It's too dangerous.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
Да иди ты нафиг со своими книгами.
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains. Why? It's not like anyone was killed there. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers. You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir.
Э,
No! Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this through before you decide to do anything extreme.
Talking is always good. Go see what she has to say.
Хорошо.
There is something mysterious about the curtains. Be careful. The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to crime,
Ладно,
romance, and
на самом
biographies
деле,
of famous people.
я признаюсь, у меня брат проходил, когда диском, он типа зашел в эту комнату. Ну, вернее, он мне сказал, он меня спросил, ты заходил в книжный магазин в потайную комнату? Я такой, типа, нет. Он такой, ну, понятно. И я такой подумал, значит, надо сходить посмотреть. Вот. Причем он проходил за такого не совсем честного полицейского, юзал наркоту там, ну, короче, такой, напролом шел. И как он сказал, ну, и, по-моему, про то, что он вообще не разговаривал с Эраром, я говорил, или как там его, короче, с толстячком, с моржом.
I already told you, it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Go buy some goddamn books. You're supposed to be drawn to the books. No! Okay, fine. It's because this place is cursed. Just like Annette said, they don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Are you happy now, officer? Happy that you've ruined everything?
Host of hosts, she prays. Guard me and my honest business venture from the curse that lurks behind the curtains. Take it easy. You've broken her resistance. Pushing her further will gain nothing.
Ну что здесь не давить?
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards. The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building, even though now I fear it's not enough. Oh, this? No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans, with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%.
Я специально не буду у нее покупать книги из-за этой
Desert
белизны.
pygmy shamans. That sounds like a rather questionable way to describe a group of people.
It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Wow. Void raves. You have new words.
Еще уровень.
The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation. It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy.
Didn't that curtain just move?
But officer, there's nothing natural about entire companies declaring bankruptcy. I'm talking about cacodemons, feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements.
Ты, видимо, не знаешь, как работает экономика. Люди, которые вот за твоим магазином вокруг, да, должны обладать деньгами и желанием купить твои книги. Но, возможно, у них нет ни того и ни другого. Причем тут проклятие, я не понимаю. Серьезно? Так, ладно, я отвлекся. Сорян. Там Антон покрутил особую молитву 10 раз, и ему нифига не выпало. Так, ладно, злые демоны.
There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever
Yeah.
since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie, lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here.
Sounds familiar.
Truly so? Perhaps the dark energies are leeching off you. You shouldn't stay in the store too long. It may be dangerous. Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get involved in this mess. Stay away. Leave the spirits be, so they can return to their slumber.
Это не то.
Psychic arts? Sounds right down our alley.
Так, тут на драму. У меня на драму что-то было. Ща приду, жди. У меня была шмоточка на драму. Или не было? Или была? Нет, не было. Минус драма. Давай-ка снимем очки. Оденем вот эти очки.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and
Ну,
welcome to
чуть-чуть
crime,
получше.
romance, and biographies of famous people.
Time to fire up the old lie
Черт.
machine.
And I am his private partner, John Shaw. Together we run the preeminent postal surveillance firm in Revachol. Once we've caught our client's spouse in flagrante delicto, we blackmail them and pocket the money ourselves, because that's what private investigators do. Now, I see that you are a married woman.
Some penetrating sarcasm from your colleague there.
What nonsense are you two going on about? This is not relevant at all. And besides, my husband would never do such a thing. We are proper people. How can I believe you after all that foolishness?
Our sincere apologies, ma'am. No more nonsense. We are offering to assist you with your troubles. Pro bono. That's right. When not spying on the love affairs of the ultra-rich, we solve unusual mysteries by the low reload.
Чего они несете?
Oh my god! Will you stop with that incessant yammering? It's too much. If you wanted the key to the back door, you could have just asked for it. Absolutely not.
Ах ты сволочь.
Okay, but please, only a few questions.
The woman
Ладно.
before you scans the store.
Попозже мы прокачаем драму и... А может просто отдернуть занавески? Алло. Почему я не могу просто пойти и отдернуть занавески? Да что там, Антон? Антон, как-то не вовремя. Так. А что если я... Ай, ладно, нет, драму прокачаю и приду. Мне как раз 2 очка. Ну нет, в драму закидывать их точно не хочу. 2 очка. Хочется восприятие взять. И логику какую-нибудь. Или анализ. Ну, пока ничего не буду брать. Блин, короче. Печально, печально. Не раскусил я ее. Пока что. Так, у нас же новый день. Мы, наверное, можем позвонить по броне. Точнее. Или я уже звонил? Нет, не звонил.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Sorry, sir. I still haven't heard back from the database people. Try calling again later. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Понятно.
57.
Пока
In the
глухо.
cabin, you see a set of steering...
Пока глухо. Так, надо посмотреть, что по заданиям вообще. Что у меня тут? Спойте под караоке. Угу. Так, по броне пока пусто. Так, поспрашивай про татуировки. Снять ботинки, броня. Доступ к ТТТ. Некоторое время. Так, вот, кстати, мы можем пойти попробовать включить. Сегодня же среда, получается. Закрыть шлюз, короче, мы можем найти перчатки. И синяя дверь. Пойдемте попробуем рычаг нажать. Опа. А вы кто такие?
A rusting control panel with loose wires dangling out from the hole where an indicator light used to be, and a mechanical lever sitting in the middle. You grab the handle and pull the lever up. As soon as the metal connects against the contact pins, you hear a loud clunk. Then, the water lock starts moving.
Ну, неплохо.
Okay, if we ever need to get to the coast, then this is the way. But please, contain your wanderlust for now. I don't want us to get sidetracked, not with everything that's going on.
Focus on one thing, achieve it, then the next, he thinks. That's the task chain.
А кто ты такие? Почему я с вами не могу поговорить? Доброе утро, ну доброе. Сидят что-то здесь. Что не было? Давай смотреть. Так, потом денежка. Так, сначала вниз спустимся. Денежки почти хватает на еще немного денег. Еще немного денег.
It must be cold and lonely down there, in the icy water. Remember the tire tracks in Martinez? This is where they were leading.
It appears to be so. I agree. We should definitely investigate.
You get a sudden, sinking feeling. Stomach acid comes up as you look at the motor carriage in the deep, dark, cold water. Why the doom and gloom? It's just a sunken motor carriage. Some motor carriages are bound to end up in the sea. The motor carriage is properly stuck in the ice. Getting it out would require a team of specialists.
The ice hasn't closed around the vehicle yet. My guess is it's been here since last Saturday or Sunday.
The estimate is correct. The incident probably occurred on Sunday evening. The logo is too deep in the murky water. You can't make it out, but you do see a monkfish float by. Your mocking tone finds no response, but the motion of the waves.
Yes, yes. Clearly, this is a triumph. I'd say the vehicle has been here since last Saturday or Sunday. Let's wait for the low tide and see what's inside.
Great idea. Then we can get the things inside. The joyrider must have left something good inside. Guns, papers, maybe a cool jacket. A joyrider jacket. A joyrider jacket. You feel a strange connection to this joyrider. Maybe he's from some kind of joyriders district and likes blue and white racing livery, like a cop would.
I don't know. An hour or two, tops?
Окей. Сесть на качели и ждать отлива.
As you sit down in the old, rusty playground, the world around you becomes very silent. The hinges creak under your weight, dangerously so. Nothing but the sound of seagulls high above in the sky, echoing like distant laughter. Ice cracks around the blue motor carriage in the sea.
Попробовать попеть.
The tune on your lips forms a strange yet undeniably beautiful contrast with the surrounding bleakness. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance, then, still looking straight ahead, he joins you with a higher pitched and slightly more melodic trill. Two birds on a wire, whistling by the seaside, looking at the water and the sunken car. The clouds pass in the sky, and the shadow of the swing moves like the hour hand on a timepiece. 30 minutes have passed. Looks like this might take a while. Time to present a good topic for discussion.
I'm pretty sure I told you already, didn't I? My dad and mom are both half Seolite.
Ну, я не знаю, ни папу, ни маму.
Clouds on the horizon grow darker, and the shadow of the swing set keeps climbing. You hear the distant rumble of the city. 30 minutes pass.
Luckily, I am already a member of an independent organization, and therefore do not have to choose between a rock and a hard place.
Your voice echoes on the water, strange and out of place in the environment. 30 more minutes pass.
Detective, I've been able to make out the mark ever since we arrived. I find it odd that you haven't. It's a Coupris, Model 40. It is a simple and rugged machine, favored by working men, government offices, firefighters, animal control people, you know, those kinds of people. Yes, 41. What do you think it stands for?
It's as if he knows what it stands for, but wants you to say it. It's pedagogical.
Это моя тачка.
Does he know something about that speed racer?
Это моя тачка. 41 это номер участка. Или у меня 47 участок, я путаю. Или нет? Или нет?
A precinct, yes. A police precinct. Precinct 41, your precinct.
A massive pit opens up in your stomach, and the most terrible feeling comes over you. No. Just nope. Say no to this, Harry.
Это моя машина, я утопил свою машину.
I'm afraid so, yes. It looks like you started in front of the whirling, jumped over the canal, and then drove your vehicle in the sea right here.
Что? Я думал, мы найдем какого-нибудь чувака. Я точно ни за кем не гнался.
Detective, we don't. A rescue operation really isn't viable at this point. I'm afraid it will have to be there like that for many years. Look at it. Parts of it might be salvageable, but overall, this machine is a write-off. People are more valuable than machines. Training a police officer is even more costly.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and doesn't say anything. There is also a fourth thing you've lost. More precious than the gun, the badge, and the motor carriage combined. Lost forever into the deepest of seas.
You can still whistle. Besides, the night is always darkest before the dawn.
Золотой человек. Золотой человек. Вообще просто самый лучший в мире персонаж. Почему? Сделайте вторую часть, где можно играть за Кима и просто щелкать головоломки вот так вот. И говорить умные, приятные вещи другим, чтобы им было хорошо. Чтобы ходить и всех успокаивать. А негодяев сажать в тюрьму. Какая жесть. Да, ну поспрашиваем глупые вопросы, может это что-то даст.
Of whom? I don't think so. If anything, you were probably drunk. That is very unlikely. All the electrics are toast. That goes for the electromagnetic steering and brake systems as well. You'd be lucky to find one undamaged component in there. In a few months, there will be nothing but rust left of this vehicle. It'll be cheaper to buy a new one. Well, not cheaper. This motor carriage costs 40,000 real. But in the long run, it still makes more sense to buy a new machine than try to refurbish this. Let's face it, this is a substantial loss to your district's budget. I mean, my station only has 4 other vehicles in addition to my kinema.
This was 20% of the station's vehicular budget.
Жесть какая.
Yes, let's go take a look.
Просто жесть. Кажется, я нашел удостоверение. Ого. Мундир. Красота. Штаны, конечно, такое себе. Не то. Чё, канистру можно продать?
A police badge on which you see the photo of a man. You. Some seaweed is stuck to the back.
At least something good came out of all this.
Encased between two durable plastic sheets is a bluish card with lines of information and a watermark in the shape of the street grid of Revachol West. You see a photo, a name, a rank, a document number, the date of issue, and, in the lower right corner, your precinct. The man keeps winking at you with his green-grey eyes. The photo is old, no doubt about that. But the badge is new. You used an old photo for a new badge. Good choice. A newer photo would look different. 8, maybe 10 years. The guy in the picture is rather good looking. He's got a nice haircut and is distinctly lacking in massive sideburns. What do you think? His face is already contorted by the expression, although it looks less grotesque on him than it does on you now. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it, and a shining watermark.
Harrier. That's long for Harry. So you are Harry. Evrard was half right. Probably not a lot of people know your full name. Whoever told him you're Harry Dubois didn't. It's a wartime name, revolutionary. The kind mothers give their sons during troubled times, like Undying or Boxer or Ironhide.
A name like armor.
Pleased to make your acquaintance, Harrier Dubois.
Гриер Дюбуа. Такое французское имя просто прям вообще.
He's not going to call you Harrier. He'll keep calling you officer when he's angry with you, and detective when he's not.
Надо запомнить. Офицер, когда зол, и детектив, когда не зол.
The badge in your hands shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information.
Lieutenant W. Freighter. The lieutenant is a rank above sergeant and below captain. It's the highest rank in the RCM that still does field work. I am a lieutenant. The title of Yefreitor is added to your rank when you decline a promotion to a higher rank. In your case, captain. You have declined twice, thus you're double Yefreitor.
2 раза отклонил повышение. Чего?
There are many reasons one would do this. The rank above you in your precinct's décomptage might be taken, or sometimes promoted officers do not want to replace their superiors out of respect. And sometimes they just prefer the type of police work available to their current rank, in your case, lieutenant.
Heavy-duty case-solving machine.
Décomptage is the hierarchical system employed by the Revachol citizens' militia. It means counting down to 2s. The lowest rank is junior officer, usually teenagers. Then there are the patrol officers, then sergeants, lieutenants, and then a captain. That's basically it, except for a few kings. Kings like satellite officers and the additional Yefreitor rank I already explained.
The long and short of it is, you're his superior.
Ничего себе, старший по званию. Круто.
You are given the title of satellite officer if your partner is quickly promoted through the ranks and you rise with him. You don't seem to be a satellite. No, I've been putting up with you because despite an unconventional approach, you are doing good police work. It matters more than driving your motor carriage into the sea. And now we've even found your badge.
He trusts you, for now. Try not to spoil it.
Я думаю, мое звание алкаш.
Yes, apparently you've had a rather successful career in the past, and this leads me to believe maybe your current situation is only temporary.
Бывших алкоголиков не бывает, но спасибо.
Good.
Such a small yet precious thing. Expensive paper caught between thick plastic, like a fly in amber. It reads.
That's just the serial number. Revachol, Jamrock, Precinct 41, with some numbers thrown in there for good measure. 4 months ago. I'm guessing that's when you were promoted to the rank of Lieutenant W. Freighter. A new badge usually comes with a new rank. You seem to have been doing well then.
You're pretty sure you weren't doing well, but better? Probably yes. A lot can happen in 4 months, especially in winter. The winters are never easy on you. Of that you are sure.
I remember that time! That was a good time. We had a good work-drink balance going. What happened, man? Pump it up!
Yes, it's the designation of your precinct. 41. Like mine says 57. The 57th is mostly industrial harbor. A lot of asphalt. The 41st is... It's a tough station to work in. You have all of Jamrock to cover. That district should have 3 precincts, but money is what it is.
It's no wonder you are like you are, he thinks. But then again...
But then again, it's a legendary district, and a hell of a station too. It must be an honor and a curse to work with people like Price, McCoy, Berdiayeva.
And you? Is it an honor to work with you? Don't ask him. Ask yourself. The badge in your hand shines as you rotate it, catching light. You see lines of information on it. And...
Вот так-то. Ну, кстати, есть книга какая-то. Потом. Может, я ствол здесь свой... А, нет, ствол все-таки был в ломбарде. Вряд ли я его здесь найду. Быстрое перемещение? Неплохо. Сначала все осмотрю, потом со всеми поговорю. Сначала осмотр, потом разговоры. Еще рыбу брать, сапоги. Кавалерийские сапоги. Что дают? Восприятие. А мои еще дают самообладание. Восприятие. Это, конечно, здорово. Блин, выглядит жестко. Еще вот так вот. Ага. Блин, оставить на восприятие. Самообладание это, конечно, хорошо. Но дают минус. Не хочу минусов. Чем меньше минусов, тем лучше. Как по мне. Не люблю чем-то жертвовать ради чего-то. В играх. С людьми пока не говорим. Собираем деньги, вещи. Всякое такое. Кстати, накопил я на номер в отеле. Деньги, лекарства. Какое большое место. Стоп. Как ты туда пойдешь? Давай-ка мы пока так походим. Что за пень? Что за бочки? Мазут. Бочки с мазутом в воде. Нормально. Ласточки. Красиво. О, как много тут мест. Ладно, сейчас облазим все, что сможем пешочком. Потом пойдем расспрашивать местных.
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air, an empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries. No more drivers smoking on hitch steps. Just silence. Chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion has opened a hole in its roof. An elm tree watches over the building. Its branches are dripping with rain and snow. The road is smooth and motley, craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is grey already. A row of tenements are under construction in the distance. A tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waves transmit the lottery numbers. 4, 18, 21, 4, 1. A modern washing machine rattles a drawer full of silverware. His boyfriend is on his way home. He brings tins of meat and vegetables with him. Their pockets are heavier with money, but only slightly. Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. The bus took them to school. It has not run for 8 years. There were not enough girls to sustain its cost. Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of black pitch rolled in. The landowners have filled the craters with money. It is a vital artery of the flow of trade. There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away, right at the turn. Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle, hurrying to work. The cold washes over you. The sound of the sea has grown distant. The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves a curl of his hair.
А, то есть сюда я не могу идти. Я понял. Так, с ними со всеми потом, позже, пока осмотр.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
Я просто хожу и собираю шмотки, как... Штаны моралиста. Всё.
These are some wonderfully regular pants. Not too tight, not too loose, moderate in every sense. You'll blend right in at some pleasant dinner party.
Люблю все обычное, нормальное.
I know you do. These inter-Estellari pants are like wearing a perfect compromise in your nether regions. No one will call the moral intern on you like this. That's you're a little more moralist now, buddy. A little more normal, even if you didn't want to be.
Все, пусть будет так. Так, сейчас сначала сходим вниз. А, ну вниз понятно. Вниз это к тачке. Хочется в коробку заглянуть. Чужие коробки так привлекают. Вот, хочу глядеть еще. То есть я перепрыгнул это все. Какая жесть.
There's no way to listen to the tape without a working tape player or portal reel at hand. But even just holding the tape makes you feel a little sad. A pawn shop would have a tape player.
Всё, я понял. Возможно, если мы послушаем эту запись, мы найдем песню, которую должны спеть.
Rust peels off the bent iron posts of the swing. The wind whistles through the skeleton of the small house behind you. There's desolation everywhere. Yet someone used to live here, laugh here. Thought it was a good idea to build a swing, even.
In this yard?
He's assessing the situation. How long ago was it abandoned?
Someone thought they could have a summer house in a bloc obscur, for cheap. It didn't work out. They abandoned it about a decade ago. A black bloc, a part of the city left unrenovated after the war, or one that has fallen to gang violence, or has become inhospitable in some other way. Practically, it's not an official term in any way, but look around. No sewage, broken power lines, crime, drunks. Life is tough in the blocks. It's no place to build a summer house.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you picked it up because you're a post-apocalyptic scavenger who collects trash and magnesium blisters.
It's not meant as nagging, just an observation.
We should move. I don't think we will solve the murder with forays into the urban hinterland, at least in this phase of the investigation.
Я понимаю, тебе не нравится, я понял. Но ты мой напарник, ты будешь ходить со мной. Ничего не знаю. Так, здесь мы никуда не можем идти, да? Ладно. Ну, там еще один вход был справа. Очучки. Но тут не пройти, да, пока что. Эмпатия, логика. Эмпатия — это моя тема. Крутые очки. Еще они убирают, логику убирают, а эти убирают драму, а эти добавляют логику. Ладно, пока визуальный анализ. Я же все-таки детектив в первую очередь. Должен смотреть, наблюдать, делать выводы. Так, ну что, можно начинать опрашивать местных, хотя сколько там времени у нас, Ирина? Посмотрите, пожалуйста. Пожалуйста. Ну, пожалуйста.
Great news. The boat is big enough for a grown man like you to fit underneath it in a supine position.
Да, час 43, завтра уже будем все опрашивать. Ну, сейчас с лодкой разберемся.
I don't know. Sleeping? What do people do under boats? This is merely a measurement from your visual cortex. Do with it what you want.
Huh? Sarcastic self-pity is not what we need at this moment, officer. I understand the situation looks grim, but we must continue with our investigation.
Think of it as a salvation.
Он сказал, офицер, он не одобрил нашу идею.
You have a home somewhere. All cops do. When this is done, you can return.
А чё, можешь реально поспать под лодкой, типа, и не платить 20? Ладно, все. Я подумаю над этой идеей, если завтра спать под лодкой. Так, итоги. Осмотрели тело. Почти идеально, но что-то нам не дает покоя. Надо будет снять ботинки. По наводке моего брата мы пошли... Да, ищем холодильник. Никто нам не дает холодильник. По наводке моего брата мы пошли в книжной пытаться попасть в заднюю комнату, но пока не безуспешно. По поводу брони нам сказали еще ждать. Сколько ждать, непонятно. Мы выяснили, что за мотокарета перепрыгнула через канал. Оказалось, это я гонял на своей мотокарете. Бухой. Ничего не помню. Мы нашли удостоверение. Мы теперь знаем, кто мы. Вот, это уже что-то. Нас, кстати, зовут. Теперь, наверное, есть Гарри Дебуа. Гарри Дебуа, а почему? Лейтенант, дважды ефрейтор. Ну, короче, мы крутые. Крутой мужик. Ну-ка, что тут у нас написано? Коп суперзвезда 1. Жалкий коп 5. Коп зануда 2. Коммунист 7. Фашист 7. Ультралиберал 3. Моралист 8. Я не коммунист, а не фашист. Что это кого сказал? Хороший коп, плохой коп 11. Честь 5. 11 это что значит? В чью пользу? Или там 1-1, непонятно. Убито людей 3, раскрыто дело 216, год службы 18 лет. Угу. Вот такой мы полицейский. Вот, мы перебрались через канал, нашли тачку, как уже сказал. Обыскали, нашли кучу денег, нашли лодку, где можем спать. Теперь нам надо опросить остров. Остров опрашивать мы будем завтра, поэтому... Доброй ночи, сладких снов, приятного аппетита, если вы будете кушать и смотреть запись. И вообще, пока-пока.